This is the Group 9 Risk Takers presentation. Our group members are Angelina, Daniel, Jasmine, Samantha, Yayoi, and Zlatko.
Wildflower Accounting is a small accounting firm in Washington, D.C. with high-level clients. George is the lead manager for the team that handles all government-based accounts and is widely known for his track record of meeting and exceeding deadlines. Through the success of the firm, his team grew from 2 people to 4, and with the onboarding of new clients, a new team with another 4 members is going to be formed. George is having a hard time dealing with this, as he knows that his group dynamic is what allows him to exceed his goals and earn a bigger bonus every quarter. And give up to lead the new group, as well as additional employee, means that he'll have to reform his group. The decision of deciding who to send is really difficult for him. Steve is the best and brightest accountant within George's team and is prepared to lead the new team, but is worried that George won't let him leave as he is the team's best. Karen is the other member of the group who is ready to take a leadership role and is willing to do anything to move up and take the lead of this newly formed team. Karen is thinking of bribing the other members of the team, Julie and Chris, to nominate her so that she can take one of them to the new team and offer them a raise. Steve finds out about the offer from Karen to his fellow teammates and is considering giving them a higher amount so that he can finally get his chance to move up and lead a team of his own. After considering the repercussions of this choice, Steve decides not to pay and let George pick the best candidate.
Okay, the main cast goes as George, who is the manager with a sense of duty, has a hard time letting go of power. George is the top employee at Wildflower and has always been known for his timely execution of projects ahead of schedule. He lives in Arlington with his wife and 2 kids and regularly attends sports events in the area. George, who has been in accounting for 15 years, has always encouraged his employees to do their best and achieve their greatest potential and goals. He also has problems with relinquishing control of his team as he has groomed them from the start. His greatest achievement at the company is winning 2 large multi-million-dollar government contracts that has helped the company expand to their new size. Next, we have Steve, who's the top accounting with big ambitions, very professional and ethical. Steve is a recent college graduate from George Washington University who has completed his degree in accounting while working with Wildflower. He has always been a top team player and lives in DC with his girlfriend and newly born son. He cares about the community and has always been active in community events and supported local charities by donating time. He has always been an ethical standard at his company, exposing inaccuracies and helping clients fix them without compromising deadlines. Next, we have Karen, who's a longtime employee looking to move up, willing to contribute anything she can to the company. Karen has been an employee at Wildflower for 5 years and has worked under George for 3 of the last 5 years. She received her degree from Stanford. She just recently bought a home in Maryland and commutes to work daily. Due to her increasing debt from buying a new home, she has needed to work extra hours and has worked across multiple projects. Karen hits her bonuses easily and over time exceeds them as she is willing to put longer hours. She also has doubts about her abilities at times, which she has caused George to take notice and consider other options for leading the new team. And last but not least, we have Chris and Julie, who are new employees who are in a relationship and are recent graduates from Yale. Chris and Julie are new employees at Wildflower who has been in a relationship for 3 years. They live together in DC and enjoy the sights and participating in sports. Both have accounting degrees from Yale and just moved to DC to start their new careers.
The management themes we tackle in our episodes that were mentioned in the textbook and in your presentations are decision-making, planning and strategic management, organizational structure and design, and managing diverse human resources.
So the themes we cover throughout the episodes are structured based on the last slide. And specifically in episode 2, the main theme we were trying to cover is organizational structure and design, specifically with work specialization. The episode starts off with George, who is our leader, contemplating what he would do about productivity since the overall productivity has decreased at the firm. He has 4 employees under him: Steve, Karen, Chris, and Julie, all working on a variety of tasks on their own. And since they all perform various jobs and tackle customer service individually, George realizes that the stress from all that and the structure is not benefiting the firm and the employees. So in this episode, George would decide to change the organizational structure of the firm to assign each employee a job specialization. The other piece of this episode is individual behavior and attitudes. Since George now has to increase productivity, fixing the structure is piece 1, and then motivating his employees through and finding out their individual behaviors and attitudes towards the overall company and how they want to grow, as well as achieve their own goals throughout life. And by doing this, he can achieve better productivity overall. And this episode covers that when he gives them job specializations and tries to find out what their attitude and behavior is like to specialize them within their each position. Motivating them is also key to this, as he has to find ways to increase overall productivity. And by finding out their behaviors and attitudes, he can drive motivation to build overall productivity up and increases the firm's profit line as well as revenue. Trust is the last piece of this episode, and also the biggest theme, since each person must trust the other to work well with each person on the team. There has to be a level of trust, as they are all specializing in their own portion of the overall projects, which requires them to do different things and not all work on the same thing, which again requires trust, motivation, individual behavior, and attitudes. And this episode exemplifies that. Episode 3 covers one of the other pieces of our main themes, which is managing diverse human resources. As you have different employees with different skill levels, each person must communicate, have their own individual values, and negotiate throughout this episode. And by doing that, they can increase overall productivity, performance, revenue, and profit for the entire company. This episode goes into detail by that, especially when George hires 2 new employees with completely different backgrounds. And you also have Karen and Steve who have different backgrounds, as one is a community leader and the other just recently moved and now has to work extra hours, which contributes to their individual values. Communication as well here is the big piece, since communicating how the team's going to grow, what each new role will be, and who leads the new team is especially important. And negotiation as well, since now we have to negotiate who will do what, the breakdown of what's going to happen overall, and find out how they're going to grow the team, considering everything that they're going through. And the episode does that by breaking out the different roles and helping the team negotiate the new overall team structure and how the company will grow over the number of years. Now we're going to talk about our reflections and recommendations here. One thing I will reflect upon is what I've learned through this class and working with my group mates, is that managing a team can be very, very hard, and it requires structure, which we covered during one of our themes, and requires planning, performance, and overall just be keeping each other accountable throughout the entire process.
Throughout this online class, I've learned that it's extremely hard to work in a group, as we only met online and not in person, and we all have different schedules, so it's hard to figure out a time where we can all communicate and get together to work on a presentation like this. However, everyone in the group was willing to contribute and proactive, so I think that played a really important role in making the group work be successful.
My reflections upon taking this online class is that I realized that since we had to work in a group, this was sort of like a management project, because we had, like, someone was a leader to step up and say, like, hey, we have to get this done, or hey guys, we need this and this, and like basically someone's was like helping the team put all our ideas together to get what we needed to get done, which is really good in management because that's teamwork and motivation. And we will definitely have to use these skills in our future, depending on what career choice we take, because in order for a successful business. So I think it's really good class.
I learned a lot in this class. Being a business owner and a manager of that business myself, it was interesting to see the real process and how to develop a strategy, and how to plan things out the correct way, how things are supposed to be organized properly. All those things you take for granted because you say, okay, I know, I can come up with, a strategy. I know how to organize, but there's definitely a way to do it when you're acting as a business or as a leader of that business, as opposed to just trying to make day-to-day decisions, what, the opportunity cost of, you going to one place or another, as opposed to, bigger decisions that occur in business. So.
What I learned from this project in the course was how important strategic planning is in management. The leader in our group made a lot of effort to bring us all together to complete each task in a timely manner and to motivate us to become involved in the project. The ability to create a motivating atmosphere is a key skill a manager should possess, and I think that we all did a great job of keeping our group motivated by having fun with our work and encouraging one another. I share the same sentiment as the rest of our group that it was pretty difficult to coordinate and do our work together, being that it was an online class, but I think we did a pretty good job of making it work.